Yeah, hi there, and these comments are for a student at Quora. So you made a comment. It says, how do I get 120 in the TOEFL IBT exam? Right, the only problem is you say, I took a practice test, I got 80 out of 120, so how should I go about preparing for getting the perfect score? Now, I admire your incredible enthusiasm for setting a very high standard, but sometimes you need to get a dose of reality. So for you, because of your practice test scores around 80, it's not really appropriate for you to try to get 120. You're just going to get disappointed. So for you, a better question is, how do you go from 80 to 100? Right? And then once you get 100 and you take the official TOEFL exam to confirm that, even at 100, it's still really hard to go to 120. I mean, if you're 115 and you want to get 120, your question would be more appropriate. It's kind of like this. Let me give you an example. So let's say that you're a runner and you want to run a 4-minute mile. So you ask me, hey, Michael, how do I run a 4-minute mile? I say, well, what's your mile time right now? And you tell me 8 minutes. And I say, well, it's probably not even possible for you to run that fast. In fact, more people have climbed Mount Everest than those who have run under 4 minutes in the mile, to just put it in perspective. So for that runner who wants to get 4 minutes, that's not an appropriate goal, I don't think, at that point. So if somebody who can run 8 minutes can probably set a goal of running maybe a 7-minute mile. Once they've done that, then they try to run a 6-minute mile. Once they've accomplished that, then they try to do a 5-minute mile, and then maybe below that, they might not even genetically be able to do that. Not everybody has that ability. So for you, because your score is at 80 out of 120, it may not even be possible for you to get 120. So that's kind of my own insight, right? But here's what I want to do. I'm going to give you some suggestions on how you can improve your TOEFL score, and let me just give you a word of wisdom. When you take a practice test, make sure that it incorporates all 6 of the speaking tasks, and make sure that the practice test includes 2 of the writing tasks. Of course, you have the reading and the listening. So that way you're comparing apples to apples. So that's something that I will talk about with you in just a minute. So for you to improve 80 out of 120, I'm going to show you how you can use my online TOEFL course to improve your English so you can score much higher on the TOEFL IBT exam. Now, will it guarantee you get 120? No, probably not. And it's not even possible for you to get that high of a score right now. But if you follow my plan for at least 1 to 3 years, right, and you study, it might be possible to get 120. You remember what I'm saying? At least a year, maybe 2 years of serious study before you will be able to get that high score that you're looking for. Okay, so in my online TOEFL course, I have 7 sections. So for you, I recommend that you focus on the vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation sections first. That's going to be really, really important for you, especially given the fact that your score right now is 80 and you want to get much, much higher than that. So really focus on learning the words, complete the grammar exercises, and make sure you do the pronunciation practice. This will probably take you about 3 months. Remember, as if you're one of my students in my online TOEFL course, I will listen to and evaluate your pronunciation practice exercises to help you speak more clearly. Now, once you've completed those first 3 sections, then you want to go to the listening and the reading parts of my course. Now, in both sections, you want to make sure you're taking notes on the main points and the most important supporting points of the listening and the reading passages. Now, here's the key. Of course, you're using your notes to answer the comprehension questions. We all know that. So, and your goal is to score between 80 and 100% on those lectures and those reading passages. Now, here's a trick. With my reading passages, you only have 60 seconds to read the passage. You're trying to increase your reading speed, and your goal is to get your reading speed to 350 words a minute. Now, I guarantee you, if you can get your reading speed to 350 words a minute, it will dramatically increase your chances of getting a very high TOEFL score, especially given the fact that you have a reading section, you have reading passages during the speaking section, and you have reading passages during the writing section of the exam. So you really want to focus on improving that reading speed. So, as you're taking notes on the reading and the listening passages, I want you to write a summary of those reading and listening passages. Your goal, maybe each week for the next year, you want to write maybe 3 or 4 250-word summaries of the reading and the listening passages that you're practicing. And writing down this information and summarizing it will help you to build your vocabulary. It will also help you to build your grammar. And you will find that your language use will be much better 1 year from now if you practice doing this. Again, you're writing maybe 3 or 4 250-word summaries every week. In addition to writing summaries about the listening and the reading passages, I also encourage you to talk about or speak about these reading and listening passages, again, using your notes like you did before. Now, this time, your oral summary should be about 60 seconds. And I recommend that you actually record your oral summary so you can listen to it later on. You can check for accuracy. More importantly, you can check for your delivery, language use, and also topic development. Now, once you've done those 2 sections, then it's time for you to work in the speaking and the writing parts of my course. That'll probably take another 2 or 3 months. And that's where you're getting feedback from me. Because as you do the speaking practice test, I will give you some audio feedback to let you know if you have any delivery, language use, and topic development issues. I'll even tell you where you need to focus in my course in order to get better. Now, also, you should be completing writing practice tests at my website. My teaching assistant will read and score the independent and integrated writing practice tests that you complete. I have more than 80 independent and integrated writing practice tests right now for you. For speaking topics, I have more than 300. And you will get feedback from me when you do these things. So if you follow that plan, first going through sections 1 through 3, the vocabulary, pronunciation, and grammar, then you focus on the listening and the reading parts of my course as I suggested, and finally you finish the writing and speaking parts. I think probably in about a year or so, you will be able to improve your TOEFL in enough, or your English language enough, to get a much higher score than 80. Right? That would be my advice on that. So think about that for a minute. Now, my recommendation is, when you're ready, after every 3 or 4 months of study, you can take a full-length IBT practice test. This practice test takes 5 hours long. It has reading, listening, speaking, and writing. And I have another companion website that I use, and that TOEFL IBT Writing and Speaking Specialist will listen to and grade the speaking and writing tasks and also calculate an overall score for you. So those are my recommendations of what you can do right now to dramatically improve your TOEFL score. I cannot guarantee you'll get 120, but I promise you, you can get over 100 if you follow my plan. And it'll probably take you a little bit over a year or so before you will be able to do that. All right? Anyway, good luck to you.